This is Harbour Stories, short standalone episodes from the Steady As She Goes podcast, telling the stories of the ships, people and working vessels that kept our harbours moving. In this episode, we're telling the story of one such vessel, the Tug Wexford, built in 1888 and for decades essential to the life and safety of Wexford Harbour. And today her story can still be seen through a beautiful painting. This painting of the Tug Wexford, along with the detailed scale model, can be seen on display here at the Rosslare Harbour Maritime Heritage Centre. When we think about maritime history, the focus often falls on the ships that were lost or on the great liners and cargo vessels that passed through our ports. But very often it was a smaller, less glamorous vessel that made everything else possible. One such vessel was the Tug Wexford. She was launched in January 1888, built on the River Tyne by J.T. Eltringham of South Shields. An iron paddle tug, steam powered and compact, she was just over 100 feet long, built not for speed or long voyages, but for strength, manoeuvrability and control. And she was built with one place in mind, Wexford Harbour. Wexford Harbour was, and still is, a shallow tidal port, with a difficult bar at its entrance. In anything other than settled weather, bringing ships in or out safely required assistance. The Tug Wexford was purpose-built for those conditions, and for decades she became part of the daily rhythm of the harbour, quietly enabling trade, movement and safety. Her importance became painfully clear in February of 1914 during the wreck of the barque Mexico. The Mexico, a three-masted sailing ship bound for South America, was caught in severe weather off the Wexford coast. Driven by gale-force winds and heavy seas, she struck the Kirrok Islands, a remote and exposed group of rocks southeast of Rosslare Harbour. The crew who survived the grounding were left stranded, with waves breaking over them and no safe landing place. Rescue was urgent and extremely dangerous. Early on the Saturday morning following the wreck, Captain Lawrence Busher, master of the Tug Wexford, raised the alarm and contacted Edward Wickham, coxswain of the Rosslare lifeboat James Stephen No. 15. The Wexford immediately became central to the rescue effort. She took the lifeboat in tow and headed out towards the Kirroks, treading her way past the lightships and into heavy seas to place the lifeboat where it could attempt an approach. Conditions were appalling. On the first attempt it proved impossible to land men, and the tug was forced to turn back. Later, near the Hook Lighthouse, the towline parted under strain, leaving the lifeboat crew to row to safety late that night. Still, the Tug Wexford did not withdraw. In the early hours of the Monday morning, she again towed the lifeboat towards the islands, holding position where she could wait while further rescue attempts were made. Crucially, the Wexford also provided a small punt, her own boat, which proved vital for working close under the rocks where even the lifeboat could not safely operate. It was from this punt that exhausted survivors were finally brought off the island. Captain Busher and his crew worked quietly throughout the operation. For his part, Captain Busher later received a vote of thanks and a monetary award from the RNLI, modest recognition for work carried out in extraordinary conditions. Just 3 years later, during the First World War, the Tug Wexford again found herself at the centre of events, this time not at sea but in the Houses of Commons. In April 1917, an MP raised concerns in Parliament after the Admiralty moved to requisition the tug. He warned that removing the Wexford wouldn't just inconvenience the port, it could close Wexford Harbour altogether. The tug, he explained, was essential to handling the harbour traffic and also served as a tender for the Commissioners of Irish Lights, supporting the Blackwater and Lucifer Light vessels and Tusker Rock Lighthouse, work that was especially vital in the winter months. It was rare for a working harbour tug to be mentioned by name in Parliament, but that alone tells you how important she was. The Wexford wasn't just a vessel, she was infrastructure, she was safety, she was continuity. and today that story isn't lost. The painting of the Tug Wexford along with the detailed scale model can be seen on display at the Rosslare Harbour Maritime Heritage Centre. The centre is open every Saturday from 12 noon to 4 p.m, and you're very welcome to call in. Admission is completely free. Have a look and spend some time with these stories, the ships, the people and the working vessels that kept everything moving. Because sometimes the real maritime history isn't found in the headlines, it's found in the steady beat of a tug's engines and in the quiet work done day after day along the quay wall. Don't forget to listen back to the previous episodes of the Steady As She Goes podcast, like and subscribe and share with your friends to help us keep spreading these important maritime tales.